Blog Talk Radio.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars. And it's been said if we lose that war, and in so doing lose this way of freedom of ours, history will record with the greatest astonishment that those who had the most to lose did the least to prevent its happening.
We, the people, tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. Our Constitution is a document in which we, the people, tell the government what it is allowed to do. A man is not free unless government is limited. And informed patriotism is what we want. But still watch closely. And don't be afraid to see what you see.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. For as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it.
When in hell are all you people going to wake up?
Moretti, Underground, the Liberty Report.
Well, hey everybody. Hello, America. Welcome to the Monday, April 7th, 2014 edition of Moretti Underground, the Liberty Report. Brought to you live from PRN Radio Network, the exclusive home of the Watchmen of America program. Hey, Watchmen. Great to see you all out in there. I'm Joanne Moretti. I'm your host, and my great co-host JoJo Norton is here with me, too, and we thank you for tuning in. Our call-in number is 714-888-7404, and our awesome chat rooms are open for you as well. Our colleagues, Lynn, AstroTurf, and Famous Anna, are there putting links to all of our sources and articles in the chats, so you have them right there at your fingertips. Plus, several of our other colleagues are in there, too. Thank you, ladies, for that courtesy. And please say hello to our colleagues, by the way, when you get into the chat rooms. There's several over there, and they're more than just people who put links into our chats. Our colleagues are some of the finest researchers I've ever had the honor to know. We have a great show lined up for you today. JoJo has invited Becky Williams as our first guest. She's throwing her hat into the ring for governor of Texas, and JoJo thought it would be interesting to have her on and hear her perspectives of what the issues and the solutions are. So I look forward to that. After Becky, we have Manny Vega on. You may remember him as having attended the 10 Million Bikers to D.C. rally, where he and other veterans removed the barriers preventing our beloved vets from entering the war memorials during the government shutdown. Well, he has some information of his own that he wanted to share with us, so he's going to be on. And if that isn't enough, our third guest tonight is our very own colleague, Color Me Red. She has some information that's going to change your mind about the Mozilla Firefox issue and the alleged gay agenda that caused the resignation of the new CEO over there. Here's a hint. It's not really about gays at all. And we'll explain all of that. But before we start today's show, we have to do the usual disclaimer. That's just to let the FCC or the feds or Obama hold or anyone else who might be interested that anything said by us on this show is my responsibility and not that of our wonderful hosts, PRN, or the Watchmen of America. The disclaimer goes like this. The comments made by hosts and or guest hosts or phone callers of the PRN radio network do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints, ideology, beliefs, or anything else of members of the Watchmen of America program or the Patriot Resistance website, either in past, present, or even future broadcasts. All right, well, now that that's out of the way, let's bring JoJo on and get this party started here. Welcome, everybody, while I open up this microphone. Hey, JoJo, welcome.
Hey, how are you today?
Very good. I see that our first guest is here, too. But before we is there anything you want to bring up before we open up our microphone and get to two stories, actually, real quick?
Are we going to do the headlines first?
Well, I was thinking I'll do two stories because Mickey Rooney died. I really liked him, too. And just as we were coming on the air, the Senate approved a bill to ban that Iranian diplomat from coming, the Ted Cruz bill.
Ted Cruz said that they voted unanimously to keep all terrorists out of the United States or something, but they forgot about the ones in the White House.
Yeah, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's just crazy. Yeah, it says the Senate approved the bill to ban the Iranian diplomat. This guy here, he's a real piece of work. In 1979, he was part of the group that took 52 American hostages and held them for 444 days. Remember during the Carter administration, just as Ronald Reagan was coming on? Also, this dude was going after Iranian opposition over in Italy and a couple of other places, too, that they were murdering people. But it says here that this is from Ramsey Cox over at The Hill. The Senate passed a bill Monday that would allow President Obama to block Iran's new United Nations ambassador from entering the United States. The bill from Senator Ted Cruz, a Republican from Texas, came in reaction to Iran's decision to name Hamid Abu Talib as its new UN representative. Cruz said Abu Talibi, is a member of a militant group that took the 52 American hostages. Cruz said it was deliberately insulting and contemptuous that the Iranian leaders would nominate this guy for the UN role. So he had applied for a visa to visit the United States in order to work at the UN headquarters. Now, this bill amends the Foreign Relations Authorization Act, which already allows the president to deny U.S. entry visas to UN representatives found to be engaging in spying against the U.S. or who might pose a threat to the U.S. So he's already got that authority. Now, this bill just allows him to bar this guy. No one's saying that Obama will bar him. Obama hasn't said one word either way. This bill allows him to, but he already had that authority, so I don't know if it's a moot thing.
Well, I mean, he doesn't go by any other laws, bills. I mean, he'll do what he wants. In fact, the guy's probably sleeping in the Lincoln bedroom as we speak.
Yeah, no kidding. Representative Doug Lamborn.
Lynn says she can't open the Blog Talk chat room.
Tell her to, Lynn, close out and go back in. I think that you might be going under host instead of co-host. But it's okay if you knock me out. Anyhow, this guy, Doug Lamborn, he's from Colorado. He's a Republican. He has a companion measure in the House. So we'll see if the House passes it. And also I wanted to tell everybody that Mickey Rooney died. What a love. I had the honor and opportunity to meet him. He was down here doing a show. And it was like a comedy variety type show. And I was working over next door at a restaurant lounge. And he came in and had a couple of drinks and was hanging out with everybody. And he was just really, really cool. What a funny guy, man. He told some jokes and he laughed. And anyhow, he was...
So he's short, right? He's shorter than you?
Oh, yeah, he's tiny. He's like half my size.
Oh, my God, he's short.
Yeah, he's short. I would think he was like 4'6", maybe 4'7". I'm almost 5'2". But, yeah, so he was a little shorter than me. But he starred alongside Judy Garland, and he was married 8 times, including to Ava Gardner. He married Jan Chamberlain in 1978, and they consistently performed together. Appeared in 15 movies as an All-American boy, Andy Hardy. And he was in all kinds of MGM movies from the 30s and 40s and 50s and singing and dancing. And remember Black Velvet with, what's her name there? Elizabeth Taylor, all of that. So rest in peace, sir. You were an American icon. So tell us about your guest, Becky, before we open up her microphone.
All right.
I see she's here. Hi, Becky. I see you in there.
Becky is a new Facebook friend. She's friends with Carol Ray, and Carol Ray kind of hooked me up with her. And she is busy researching her little tell-off, and she's got something she wants to announce tonight, and she has chosen our show to announce it, and I'm quite honored. And I'm going to let her kind of tell you all about that. I don't want to bust her bubble, and I'll let her do it, so we'll open her mic.
All right. Well, Becky, your microphone's live. Hi, Becky. I'm Joanne Moretti. Pleased to meet you.
Hi, Joanne. It's a pleasure to meet you, too. I want to first thank the great staff that you have there and the group that you put together for allowing me a podium and an avenue to announce I'm officially going to throw my hat in for governorship. I'm going to run for the great state of Texas.
Yeah, go, girl.
Texas is a fantastic, great state. I know some awesome people come out of there.
We believe that the corruption in our government has surpassed our national ability to remove the tyranny that is so blatantly obvious.
Yes, Joanne and I in our group's been working on that for about 4 years, and it is pretty deep. That is for sure.
Absolutely, and some of the information that I've come across in my research in the last 3 days in order to write a declaration of secession, which is what my platform is going to be based on, seceding the great republic of Texas back to its original form. This is going to really anger the current government, and it's certainly going to anger the throne in England, because in my research in the last 3 days, what we have found out is that we were actually given over to the British for debt after the independence in 1776. Pardon me, the original incorporation was brought to my attention that it was 1788, just 12 years after the Declaration of Independence. So imagine my surprise when I had to wake up and find out that everything has been an illusion right down to our Constitution, with the 13th Amendment being removed and several other issues that I will bring to fruition to the public eye as I run for my candidacy to awaken America. Those folks out there that haven't done the research, that haven't had the time, or they really don't have direction in order to do the kind of research that you and I do. We want to wake them up. We want to tell them the truth. And the truth is that... Pardon?
Well, before you go too far in all that, tell us about the history of Texas and why Texas is different from the other states and why Texas is a republic.
Well,
why
that's
Texas
where I
can
was go with it.
easily. You know, most people don't understand why Texas is different.
Right, and I've been educating quite a few people from out of state, and they're very eager to come and live in this great state for this reason. When the incorporation was put in place in 1788, we were actually still a part of Mexico. When they originally put together the Constitution, we were our own nation when we broke away from Mexico. That made us a republic, essentially. So herein, pardon me, the reason that I can stand up as governor in Texas and succeed is because we, in fact, have an independence that no other state in the nation was afforded through annexation. Now, when the colonies were first created, we were not a part of that. We came in after the fact. And because we came in after the fact, one of the provisions that was put into place when we joined the Union was that we have the ability to pull out of the Union at any given point in time that we please based on the governorship of our state. In other words, we don't have to have congressional approval because we were not originally a part of the United States of America. So we were pre-incorporation.
And I read about 2 years ago that there was a group of people already making like a blueprint for infrastructure, utilities, how they could run their state without any federal help. I'm not using the right words, but you know where I'm going with this, right, Becky?
Well,
there was a group of people that were in a pre-planning stage, kind of, sort of, right?
Absolutely. We've been working on this for a while now. Here is another plus to what's going on with this movement and what we're trying to create. Number one, it's not about me. And I don't want any of my patriot brothers and sisters that are listening to this show to think for one moment it's about me. I'm simply going to be your mouthpiece, which is the way it's supposed to be in government. I'm going to speak for you, but I'm going to get your approval before I speak, before anything's implemented. We do have the capability. Texas is the fourth largest growing economy in the entire world. In fact, for the last 4 years, Texas has been carrying the weight of financial burden and industry for the entire nation.
Your unemployment's pretty low.
Our unemployment runs less than 5% on average. We're creating more jobs in the state of Texas every month let me rephrase that. There are more unemployment applications being filed in the entire country, and we're matching that with jobs being created every month. Does that make sense to you? In other words, we're kicking butt. We've got industry. We've got industry coming here. These gun manufacturers that are being booted out of other states because they're being pressured by the government are moving to Texas. They're coming to Texas. We're gonna work on an open carry law. I believe that everybody should be armed. We have the right to do that to defend our families. We are the only state that can secede without congressional approval. It doesn't matter who we make mad in Congress. We don't have to ask their permission. Where other states have to go through a process, we are afforded the ability to not have to go through that red paper. And because we are self-sustaining republic, the state of Texas, we have every capital resource there is known to sustain ourselves and to help our brothers and sisters in states that are around us. So we're not worried about infrastructure. It's already in place.
Well, that sounds good.
Oh, yeah, I've got it going on, I tell you.
Yes, ma'am. We have our declaration. We have our declaration to secede already written. And I put it in a format that's in layman's terms. Of course, I'm going to have to put it in it would be the same thing, but I have to put it in legalese for the purpose of government, obviously. But I wanted this one to be able to be understood in full by the average American.
Yeah.
Period.
Well,
they need to know what it says and to be able to
I don't want you to secede. I love Texas. I want the rest of the country to follow your footsteps and your image. You know, and I mean, I don't blame Texas one bit. Don't get me wrong there. I don't blame them one bit. And, you know, I understand why. But I just, you know, it's a bummer for the rest of us because you guys are doing fantastic. You got it going on over there.
Well, here's the thing. If I can make a difference, you know, to make a wave, you'd have to throw a pebble. And if I can step up, and everybody keeps screaming, this is what I've heard for the last 4 years, we need a leader, we need a leader, we need a leader. Nobody wants to take the lead, but everybody wants to wait for someone else to do this. Okay, so I'm going to take the lead. I'm going to step up. I'm going to be the Christian woman that I need to be. I'm going to stand for God, and this will be to His glory, not mine. This is His will. It's not mine. I'm not any different than you or anybody else. I just have the courage to stand up and say, you know what, this injustice, this tyranny, the usurpation that is in place, the taxation, the infringement on our rights, the very decimation of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, enough already. We have got to stand up, but we have to do this united. And if I can make a difference, I'm hoping the same thing that you're hoping is that people will follow suit in other states. And we will take this great nation away from the crown and away from the government and away from the corrupt people in the globe, the elite that have come in to exact this new world order on a people who are not willing to be enslaved any longer. We are nobody's property, but through the incorporation, it states as its property, which is actually breaking the 8th law of the Law of Nations, which plainly states that it is punishable and you cannot enslave internationally or nationally a person or people for monetary gain. That's been broken. It's been broken since 1788, whenever the debt was picked up by the crown and we were incorporated.
She's right. Yep.
We have to change it. We have to change it, folks. We've got to do something. We have to step up as a public, united, not divided, which is what they have done, is divide this nation. Keep us
confused. Well, they did that on purpose.
Absolutely. It's
everything they're doing is on purpose, just to break us down. You know, the race war, the war between the Dems and the Republicans, and, you know, just everything they do is to divide us and to take us over from within. That's my opinion.
Well, when we take the state of Texas and we turn it back into the Republic of Texas, one of the first things that's going to be done is the minority button is going to be deleted. The minority button is what keeps us divided and keeps the violence and keeps us killing each other. If it states that all men are created equal, then by God, we're equal.
Right.
You know, I'm sorry about the hardships on your ancestors. My ancestors had the same hardships yours did. They don't.
Not only that, but you know what, Becky? We didn't get to choose what race we were going to be. It's not a personal choice. So fighting about it is absolutely stupid.
Well, and they've kept us at odds. And to be honest, they have kept the black population down by doing what they have done to them. They have used them and used them, just like they're using the gay people right now and using them as the ogre to rub salt into the wounds of Christians.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's
all I know. Becky, if you get to the point where you get to run Sheila Jackson Lee out, I want to be right there with you to help pack her bags.
Listen, Miss Jackson's done. Miss Lee is done.
No, I'll get the door. You can help her out.
I want to be helping her out. You can hold the door. I want to be on the back. Yes,
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I lived in London for the better part of 3 years, and when you filled out paperwork over there, they didn't have those boxes that stated what your ethnicity is. You didn't have that.
No.
You know, in America, we've had that for as long as I've been alive, and I'm sure before that. It's not important what color you are.
Or what sex you are.
It's not important. We've all been enslaved. We've all suffered slavery. I'm 1/4 Indian. You know, for God's sake, think about what they did to my people. Stop screaming.
I'm Irish and
slavery.
Italian. Neither one of those need apply.
Thank you. Thank you. So one of the things that I think is going to reunite the great republic is to erase the minority button and the special interest groups who have caused so much corruption through lobbying in our government.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, that's just part of the platform. You know, I could go on and on all day, but y'all will be hearing a whole lot from me and a whole lot about me as we travel forward. And what I'm going to do, pardon me, is I'm going to run a little bit of an untraditional campaign here. I'm going to reach out to all of my patriot brothers and sisters, and I'm going to say this. It's just a title, and it's a title that we all share. It's not one that I'm going to hold on my shoulders. I'm going for term limits of 2 years back to the original Republic Constitution. I'm going back to put the 13th Amendment back in. Nobody who has a law degree will hold office, period, because that's where it started. We have corrupt people who dictated the law. It's not going to be like that. And I'm going to tell you something else. There's no lifetime benefit. You do what you do to be in that position because you have the heart of a patriot and because you want to make right for the people. You want to represent the people and their demands, and you want a country that can be united and operate and function and prosper with one another, but unified, not separated. That's how you conquer. That's the first thing that you do in battle is you divide to conquer. We don't need a divided nation. We don't need a divided republic. We need a united front, copacetic. Everything needs to be it needs to be equal, and that means that, you know, just because you're of one color or another, you're not afforded a special loan to start and open a business where someone else who was born here and has worked all their life, and their parents were born here and their parents were born here, they're excluded from a particular service to allow or afford them the opportunity to prosper in this great nation. We're not going to have that anymore in the Republic.
Yeah, there is no equal application. There is no equal application of justice in this government right now. Absolutely not. We got more special interests and special groups and special this and special that. You know, I got news for everybody. Nobody's special. We're in it together. We are one unit when we are together. We are not African American or Irish American or Italian American or whatever else American. We are all Americans. You know, when we landed in Normandy, the people didn't say, "Oh, here come the black, white, Asian, Christian, Jewish Americans." They said, "Here comes the Americans." Let's keep it that way.
Amen. Amen. And it needs to be taken back to that. Created equal. If all men were created equal, as it was stated, then all men should be treated equally. As for our borders, they need to be secured. We're going to make sure that they are secure. Illegal aliens that came in, I don't care what country you were from, you will be deported. You will be deported, and you will come back in properly, or you will not enter.
That's right. You know, America welcomes immigrants, legal ones.
Well, but we just come in legally, and we'll welcome you with open arms. It's all this illegal, under-the-table mess that everybody's
We already
tired
have
of.
a path to citizenship. It's called legal immigration.
Right.
Absolutely.
And, you know, that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. We have legal avenues to already take. You know, I don't want to hear how you've been here 18 years and you could find everything except an immigration office anymore. That's done. And there's no such thing. There is no such thing as Homeland Security if your border is wide open. So that's a myth right there.
Well, no.
Becky,
Pardon me? Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you if you have a website or a link or anything that people listening could go to.
We will be launching the website probably on Monday. It's not ready yet, so we'll be launching the website on Monday, and I'll get back with folks and let you know where to go to get that link. In the meantime, you're more than welcome to friend us on Facebook. I am on Facebook, and I will have a page for open chat, and once we get the website up and running, we'll also have open chat. But again, I want to...
We'll help you get the word out with all that next Monday.
I appreciate it. I want to get word out to the citizens. You are the government. In the new republic, you will be the government. And instead of it being backwards, as it is today and what we're experiencing, you will be the government. So I'm going to reach out to each and every one of you and tell you this is your campaign. This is not my campaign. This is for the state, the Republic of Texas. And if we stand up and show the great folks of America, our patriot brothers and sisters who aren't fortunate enough to live in Texas, what can be done, they will follow suit. They're looking for a leader. I need you all to step up and be that leader.
I would love to see Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Arkansas just go right on with you. That'd be my dream.
Well,
it's only 9 miles from the border, but, you know, I could get across the border in less than 10 minutes. But
yeah, well, if the chips hit the fan, I hope you got room for one more, me.
Come on, we've got plenty of room. And here's the deal, when we secede, do you realize we take back the landmass that was originally Texas?
That goes all the way up into Oklahoma.
Yeah, we're taking back the landmass. Would it
include the northwest corner of Louisiana? I wish.
I'm not certain of that, but I will get back to you on that and find out exactly. We're trying to get the geography of what we're actually going to take back. Now, keep in mind, we're really going to make a lot of people angry, and I'm not just talking about our government. I'm going to make a whole lot of people angry around the world.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people angry anyhow. So, you know, I found out that you can't please everybody, but pissing everybody off is a piece of cake.
Well, like I said, this campaign is not my campaign. I'm simply the person who's willing to step up and say, you know what, if I'm going to have to be a target, then so be it, but I'm going to stand in front of it for you, and I need you to follow me. I need you to step up, be brave, do your research, get out and campaign as if you were the one that was going to sit in the governor's seat. Now, by the way, I don't need an elaborate salary. I'll do it for $55,000, $60,000 a year, pay my own insurance costs, and I don't expect any special treatment for vacation. And I expect retirement. You know, end of the day, that's the way it should be. The people who sit in government, these congressmen, senators that sit up there, and they've got they're giving themselves a raise while we have homeless veterans committing suicide daily, who have been neglected, who's good for this country, makes me sick. It makes me want to throw up because they're sitting on $100,000, $200,000 salary, not to mention the money that they're earning under the table by shady deals and corporations and lobbies.
And insider trading.
Exactly, and insider trading. You're exactly right. We have more millionaires in Congress than we have in the general population. Why do you think that is?
And they talk trash about each other, too. Oh, that one's a millionaire, and he's using his money to buy this or that, and then you turn around, and this guy's got 3 times, like John Kerry's got 3 times the money Romney had. But Romney was a bad guy.
Right, or they're taking the per diem, the tax dollars that are being given to them, or the per diem that's being given to them, and they're funding their granddaughter's jewelry business, you know.
Oh, yeah, very
yeah.
Yeah, he's addicted to Coke. Koch brothers.
Yeah, well, jewelry, diamonds in the sky, hello. But you know what I'm saying? I don't think that anybody in the cabinet in the New Republic should make more than $40,000 or $50,000 a year, and you're looking at a 2-year term. Because when we leave them in office too long, they become corrupt. It's like putting a repeat offender in prison. They go back in, they get stronger and smarter, and they unite.
Well, remember this, Louis Gohmert, who's from Mount Pleasant, Texas, although he represents Longview. Louis Gohmert said, I love Louis Gohmert because he's one of us. Louis Gohmert said the first or second meeting he had when he first got to Congress as a freshman, he went in there thinking they was going to kind of tell him about procedures and all this kind of stuff. The meeting was not about what to do as a congressman. It was about how to get reelected. That's all they care about is how to get reelected.
Mm-hmm. I'm laughing because if I don't, I'll cry. That is the saddest thing I have heard today. But it's true. It's true. And the longer that you allow a person, you know, power and money, the Bible didn't say money is the root of all evil, but it was stated that the love of money is the root of all evil. And that's true because monetary gain is power. And power and money mean everything to some people, and even the most stand-up person can be corrupted if you rub enough in front of them, to taint their senses of freedom with power and money. So why don't we just eliminate that and go back to terms? That's why the Founding Fathers had the 13th Amendment in there and about the lawyers not being able to serve. You know, there were reasons why they wrote in what they wrote in, but, it was very short-lived. We're talking independence in 1776, and by 1788, we were sold out by Benedict Arnold, you know. Now here we are. We've been in this bubble of an illusion that we had some rights and independence and a constitution and founding fathers who were all for everything that was going on, and we had broken away from the crown in 1776, and it's all been an illusion. Imagine how distraught I was yesterday.
Well, I need to say this.
Hold on, Becky. Before we go any further, we have a caller. Her name is Deborah, and she would like to ask you a question, if you don't mind. Is that okay with you?
Go ahead, Deborah.
Go ahead, Deborah.
Actually, I've been listening, and I just want to thank you because you are exactly what we need. I mean, my gosh, we are breaking apart over tiny differences that make no sense. And they're dividing and conquering us, as you said. And I just wanted to tell you I appreciate what you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much, Deborah. And I represent you and your family to come. I'm here for you. If you ever have any questions, I'll make sure you have access to the website or a way to get a hold of me. If you haven't friended me on Facebook, please go ahead and do so. And if you have any questions at all, I will answer your questions. If you can give me any ideas on how you feel about things and what you feel needs to be changed and what is an oppression to you, then we certainly want to address that in this campaign.
From what I'm hearing, it sounds awesome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You have our support, and best of luck to you.
Thank you very much. Make sure you get the word out there. I need everybody's help.
Oh, for sure.
As soon as you get like a little website and a donate PayPal thing or whatever you plan on doing, because you're going to need a little money. I know you don't want like what the big boys get, but you're going to have to put signs out.
You know what? I put in place an advisory council for those purposes, and we're hoping that by doing this a little bit differently, we're kind of hoping that patriots will step up, and if you own a sign shop or a print shop, that you'll step up and you'll at least give us at cost, or maybe as your campaign donation, you'll actually step up and do some bumper stickers for us and do some T-shirts for us and get our signs out there for us. And you believe me, this is for your benefit as much as it is anybody else's. To step up and be a part of it.
I'll be in East Texas Tuesday and Wednesday, so I'll sure put your name out there.
Absolutely. And if you folks need me to come to you at any given point in time, anywhere in the country, if you want me to show up and stand up and speak, to any group. I have the affordability to fly free. I'm on benefits, and I can, as long as there's a seat, I can get where I need to go.
Whoa, that's good. That's good to have, huh?
Hey,
Becky, I got to tell you, thank you very much. You know, you've said all the right things right now, the type of things that patriots really want to hear. You know, we're tired of hearing about the Koch brothers and about this war on women, a war on this, a war on that. You know, we all know it's all baloney. And you're refreshing just to have, a legitimate conversation with somebody who understands the real issues, not this facade that they're putting up. I just want to thank you so much. And you at Becky Williams at Facebook?
Yes, ma'am. I'm Becky Williams.
And tell them what your avatar looks like, because I'm sure there's more than one Becky Williams.
Well, my avatar is actually a picture of a young woman who represents the Statue of Freedom with the Constitution in the background. That is written in the background. So I'm quite easy to find. I'll go ahead and put up running for governor. It'll show up on my page when you go to my wall.
Now, you're going to go as an independent, as a write-in, or you're just going to register as an independent? How are you going to do that?
I'm an independent write-in. I'm doing everything as non-traditional as I possibly can. You know what? I don't care about slandering the other campaigners. That's not what people need to hear. What the people need to hear is some truth. They need to hear what needs to be addressed, what our intentions are, true intentions, not falsehood. I'm not going to rub you sideways to get into office, massaging your that feels good button. We're going to go ahead and address the tyranny. We're going to go ahead and address the things that are oppressing the people, from being taxed to death, forced into buying a national health program that is illegal, by the way. We're going to eliminate government agencies. We're going to make it impossible for the NAACP and the ACLU. They will not exist in the new republic, nor will one be.
And you can run the EPA out too, and get these coal mines in East Texas. You know, they're regulated to death, and they've shut down several of them, and you can get those back going. You'll have all the electricity you want.
Well, absolutely.
Then you can even sell some of it to Louisiana.
You're absolutely correct. And then there's always solar. There's no reason for us to cut off from solar capability in our own right as an individual. If I want to put solar panels on my house, I shouldn't have to ask the Homeowners Association if I can do it, or the government.
Yep. Or fly a Marine flag. And our Marine friend will be up later, so after you hang up, stick around and listen to the rest of the show, because Manny's going to be here. Manny is a Marine who's gotten in all kinds of trouble for hanging a Marine flag on his apartment. So,
but he won. He
won, that's right.
So that's precedent.
One of them. And, you know, the other thing that I wanted to state that I would really like to address, folks, even though, and I'm going to ask the people, and I'm sure they're going to say yes, even though the veterans are under the current government jurisdiction when it comes to compensation, I think it's only right that the Republic steps up, and the veterans that live in our country and even outside of our new Republic should have an opportunity to be treated fairly when it comes to compensation, and for programs that are going to help them to overcome some of the obstacles and the handicaps that come with war. And I'm sorry, but they need to be first priority, in my opinion.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And they need to have the same. They need to have the same concealed carry right, or open carry. See, Louisiana's open carry, although very rarely anybody open carries in Louisiana. You have the right to, but you know, in Texas you have to have concealed carry. But anyway, all that can be addressed later too.
Absolutely, and I would like to see an open carry law in the state of Texas.
Well, shall not infringe. The government has no right to make any laws on guns. You know, even shall not infringe, and they're trying to override that. The government doesn't have the authority. That's one of the powers that is not enumerated to the government. That just comes clearly with the Bill of Rights, and I thought that was settled in 1778.
Well, and we thought it was, but don't you find it odd that they're so ready to disarm, especially the vets? That's because they're trained and they can fight
back.
back.
They're giving man pads to our enemy, and they're giving weapons to people down in Mexico, cartels, and, you know, the only one they want to take the weapons away from is Americans. Why? To make us sitting ducks? So they got plans for us? You know, that they need us all disarmed?
Right. The thugs in Oakland and in Chicago step right out in the street, and the police are afraid of them. They'll step out and fire a gun in the air and kick a cop car and cuss them and tell them to get on down the road, that it's none of their business what's going on, or they wreak havoc on society. Now, those are the people you need to disarm. Those are the
cops are being told to run and hide now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, cops, the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled that the police departments do not have an obligation to protect you.
I think all judges and courts should be elected by the people, and again with term limits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you there,
the
too.
The appointment of the Supreme Court by the POTUS is ridiculously corrupt. They're handpicking who they want to deny rightful and justice law for the people of the nation.
Yeah,
I want to
say,
don't use law
anymore. They use precedent.
Yeah, I want to say something before we have to go to break and all that.
Okay.
When I talked to Becky the other day, I told her about the missing 13th Amendment. But in the honor of our great deceased friend, Mr. B, and everybody that's been on our show for all these years knows Mr. B. Mr. B was a great resource for us for many, many years, and he died last August. But Mr. B is the one that taught us about the missing 13th Amendment, and among other things he taught us. So in honor of Mr. B and the missing 13th Amendment, I just want to say a shout-out to Mr. B. That's what I have to say about that.
Amen to that.
Oh, yeah, Becky, you would have loved him. You would have loved him. He was our resident. I mean, there was nothing this man didn't know about law, and that was his biggest pet peeve was that 13th Amendment. He did find the ratification up in Virginia. He did go to Virginia, to the libraries up there, and found it, you know.
He did, yeah. Yes,
he did.
The original copy.
Yep, he found it in some university library. He found it.
I just read that yesterday. Whenever JoJo turned me on to it. Yeah, I sure did. And you know, I didn't know. I'm still learning, folks. I've never been in a political office outside of high school. I'm an average citizen, just like the rest of you, who is fed up and tired. And I have children and grandchildren, and my fear is that if I don't step up and do what I feel God has instilled in my heart to do, then who am I? Why am I here? You know what I mean?
I feel the same way.
I have to serve my purpose, and that means I have to serve my fellow man, period.
Yeah.
And you know, so I'm going to step up to the plate. I'm going to go ahead and put the big red target on my forehead. I walk with no fear. I'm not afraid of this government or any government.
Well, if anybody gives you a hard time, call us and we'll straighten them out. Don't think I'm fooling either. I'm serious.
Girl, I know you will. And
we're going to help you any way we can. Get your feet on the ground and get this thing kicked off.
Yeah, I mean, even if you are unsuccessful, which I hope you're not, but even if you're unsuccessful, your name and your message has to get out, okay? Because your message resonates with everybody. And, you know, you're an unknown right now, but consider this a first step and just keep walking. Don't ever turn back. You just keep going, okay?
Girl, you know, I'm going to run into it head on. This hurricane hadn't met the likes of me yet. I'm coming.
Yeah, well, you know, expect that they're going to Palinize you and they're going to try to discredit you in every way and, you know, make you out to be some sort of a kook like they do with everybody else. But patriots know better. And, you know, it's about time somebody makes a move. Somebody stands up to them, you know. Everybody's appeasing them. Oh, you can't say that. You can't even say bossy. You know, I find that rather bossy for them to tell me what I can't say, actually.
Well, you know, you have to draw a line when they're telling my 14-year-old godson, who's a supreme athlete, that he can't have more than 500 calories on his lunch plate, and it's going to cost us $250 to put it on there. And you know, when it's gotten to the point where they're telling us what we can and can't eat, we're seriously in trouble, folks. And now it's time to take our country back and take our rights back.
Even inmates get 2,100 calories a day.
Yeah, we can't do this anymore. I mean, when they're throwing a palm-sized chicken patty on a piece of bread and 3 tomatoes in a low-fat carton of milk.
I saw that photograph.
Yeah.
I saw that photograph.
I would feed that crap to my dog.
I don't feel good about feeding the GMOs to my kids. I don't.
No.
It breaks my heart every day that I have to consume poisons and that I have to feed it to my children to keep us fit for monetary gain and to keep us weak so that we can't fight back. See, that's part of the problem. That's part of the population control. When we secede, Monsanto has no place in the new republic. There will be no tainted seeds.
Monsanto, the guy who was running Monsanto is Food Czar now, the Food and Drug Administration.
How insane is that? How insane. Meanwhile, if you didn't know this, Mr. Bill Gates has set up a vault in the middle of nowhere that has unmodified, no genetic modification whatsoever of every kind of seed for food in the world. Now,
that's for him.
Yes, and it's heavily guarded. Now, that in itself tells you everything you need to know.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, Becky, we're going to have to go to break and then move on with our news. But
hey,
we'll keep in touch.
And hello again, everybody. You're listening to Moretti Underground, the Liberty Report, right here at PRN Radio Network. I'm Joanne Moretti, your host, and my great friend and co-host JoJo Norton is here with me, too. We just got finished talking to Becky Williams, who's throwing her hat in the ring for governor of Texas. That was a wonderful conversation. I'm really, really happy she called in, JoJo. That was a really nice guest you had there.
Thank you.
Hey, let's get down to some news while we wait for Manny.
Okay.
And also I see that our other colleague, Red's in the chat room, too. So in a couple of minutes, she's going to be calling in. We only have a couple of stories to get to before she talks.
Okay.
But I got a couple of things that we got to bring up before we get to Red. Obama is going to Fort Hood for the memorial on Wednesday. But he's even full of crap there. You know, he's going to take a ride by Fort Hood, and then he's going to some fundraisers. He's going to be fundraising. He couldn't even cancel them for that. Listen to this story. This is from Breitbart. Obama is scheduled to visit Fort Hood on Wednesday to attend a memorial service for the shooting victims. The President and First Lady send their thoughts and prayers out to the victims and families and everyone on the base. And they're going to actually travel down on Wednesday to the memorial ceremony. White House Senior Advisor Dan Pfeiffer explained on CBS Face the Nation on Sunday. But Obama was already scheduled to travel to Texas that day for a big Democratic fundraiser with Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid and House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi. So they're going to turn this into Mournapalooza like they did with the Giffords shooting. I wonder if they're going to give out T-shirts, JoJo. Remember they gave out those T-shirts? Yeah, they gave up T-shirts at the shooting. I have serious doubts about this Fort Hood stuff, but I don't have all the information in order that I wanted to share with everybody so I could let everybody know. Yeah, it's extremely fishy. And they're using it for the gun control.
Let's just say one thing, let's just, because we don't have it all put together, but one thing is suspicious is there was a Craigslist ad back in March for actors for a scenario of a same thing that happened, just like before, and we'll just move on from there.
For a mass shooting incident. They had they had ads out for the crisis actors again. They pulled the ad, but not before our friend Marina Chick got a hold of it. She got a piece of that. She got a screen capture of that. And also, like I said, they're using this for the gun grab situation. I got news for you, Libs. You already disarmed our soldiers. See how that worked out? And then they say, well, this guy was mentally ill, and, you know, all the soldiers are mentally ill with the PTSD, and they got to see psychiatrists. Perhaps maybe they forgot the first Fort Hood shooting. That guy was the shrink, Nidal Hassan. He was a psychiatrist. He was treating those soldiers coming back with PTSD. So I don't want to hear this mental health thing either. And not everybody who has issues is dangerous. You know, some people just get bummed and some people have flashbacks, but that doesn't mean they're just going to go out and do a mass shooting. Any reason's a reason for these gun grabbers. We got to stop these people. You know, it's just a lot. And also, over the weekend, there was a gun rally against the SAFE Act in New York. They said there were 3,500 people there. I saw the aerial shots. There had to be 10,000 people there.
Oh, yeah. That was huge.
Yeah, that thing was huge. They filled an entire square, so there was more than 3,500 people there. But way to go, New York. Good standing up like that. All right, I got another story here. The Mexican military holds U.S. Border Patrol at gunpoint inside the U.S. Listen to this from Judicial Watch. In the latest Mexican military incursion into the United States, 2 heavily armed, camouflaged soldiers from Mexico actually crossed 50 yards inside Arizona and held American Border Patrol agents at gunpoint in a tense confrontation. How'd they hold our Border Patrol at gunpoint? Oh, that's right. Our Border Patrol
only have
has
damn
beanbags.
BB guns and beanbags and BB guns.
Yeah.
So they're supposed to turn and run according to, they're supposed to say, oops, give me 5 minutes to turn and run.
Yeah, well, armed with assault-style weapons, the Mexican soldiers retreated back south after a 35-minute standoff, as if nothing had ever happened, and the Obama administration just let it slide. The unbelievable foray was made public by a mainstream newspaper that obtained government documents with alarming detail of the incident. Specifically, the paper cites the Border Patrol Foreign Military Incursion Report and a separate letter from U.S. Customs and Border Protection Commission, R. Gil Kurlikowski, an Obama appointee who was recently sworn in, said the Mexican soldiers were spotted by a Border Patrol agent entering in the U.S. about the 2.5 miles west of Sassabee, Arizona, shortly before 9 a.m. A second federal agent positively identified the 2 individuals in tan digital camouflage uniforms on foot traveling westbound on the United States side of the boundary. And the intruders were confirmed members of the Mexican military, but he asserts that U.S. border officials determined that no further action was necessary. So we can just let them operate inside the United States now, right? That's absolutely insane. All right, I got another quick one. Maureen Dowd. You all know who she is. She's a reporter, and she was with the New York Times, and she has a syndicated column. Well, she has been fantasizing about Games of Thrones characters and murdering Republicans. This chick actually put this out there. Listen to this. This is from the Daily Caller. Like many viewers of the hit fantasy show Game of Thrones, New York Times columnist Maureen Dowd enjoys escaping reality for a few hours and fantasizing about brutally murdering her political opponents. Dowd wrote in her Sunday column that she wished Washington resembled Westeros and that she could witness the murders of entire families, gaze upon stakes bearing defeated foes' heads, and watch House Republicans get their throats slit, a la the infamous Red Wedding. This goes on and on and on, but this chick is actually demented. Why would you put that in the New York Times in a Sunday article? I mean, this chick is out to lunch. All right. Let's see here. I got 2 more stories before we get to Red. Red, start getting ready to call in. Listen to this. Al Sharpton. I don't know if you all heard this. Al Sharpton, you know, the biggest race pimp we have. He works for government TV, MSNBC. Well, it came out today that Al Sharpton has been an FBI snitch right along. And not only was he a snitch, but guess who he was snitching against? The Genovese crime family in New York. Are you kidding me?
Oh, boy, is he crazy?
Yeah, well, whoever outed him. Yeah, well, I'm thinking maybe some witness protection is in his future. Check this story out. This is from The Smoking Gun. When friends and family members gathered recently at the White House for a private celebration of Michelle Obama's 50th birthday, one of the invited partygoers was a former paid FBI mafia informant. That same man attended February's state dinner in honor of French President Francois Hollande. He was seated with his girlfriend at a table adjacent to President Barack Obama, who was likely unaware that, according to federal agents, his guest once interacted with members of 4 of New York City's 5 organized crime families. He even secretly taped some of those wise guys using a briefcase that the FBI technicians outfitted with a recording device. The high-profile Obama supporter was also on the dais atop the U.S. Capitol steps last year when the president was sworn in for a second term. He was seated in front of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, 2 rows behind Beyonce and Jay-Z, and about 20 feet from Eric Holder, the country's top law enforcement officer. As head of the Department of Justice, Attorney General Holder leads an agency that once reported that Obama's inauguration guests also had La Cosa Nostra contact beyond Gotham and engaged in conversation with LCN members from other parts of the United States. The former mob snitch has become a regular at the White House, where he has met with the 44th president in the East Room, the Roosevelt Room, and the Oval Office. He has also attended Obama Christmas parties, speeches, policy announcements, and even watched a Super Bowl with the First Family, an evening the man has called one of the highlights of his life. During these gatherings, he has mingled with cabinet members, top Obama aides, military leaders, business executives, and members of Congress. His confederates were decidedly dicier. Ex-convicts, extortionists, heroin traffickers, and mob henchmen. The man, surreptitious recordings, FBI records show, aided his government handlers in the successful targeting of powerful mafia figures with nicknames like Benny Eggs, Chin, Fritzy, Corky, and Baldy Dom. Later this week, Obama will travel to New York and appear in a Manhattan hotel ballroom at the side of the man who FBI agents primarily referred to as CI-7, short for Confidential Informant Number 7, in secret court filings. In those documents, investigators vouched for him as a reliable, productive, and accurate source of information about underworld figures. The ex-informant has been one of Obama's most unwavering backers, a cheerleader who has rightly bludgeoned the president's Republican opponents in a televised broadcast. For his part, Obama has sought the man's counsel, embraced him publicly, and saluted his commitment to fight injustice and inequality. The president has even commented favorably on his friend's svelte figure, the physical manifestation of rehabilitation efforts that coincided with Obama's ascension to the White House. This radical makeover has brought the man wealth, a daily TV show, bespoke suits, a luxury Upper West Side apartment, and a spot on a bestseller list. Most importantly, he has the air of the President of the United States, an equally remarkable and perplexing achievement for a former FBI asset known as CI-7, the Reverend Al Sharpton. Unbelievable.
Al's in trouble.
Al's in big trouble. You don't rat on the Genovese family and have the whole world know about it, and then you survive that. Okay, there's honor going on right there. And they just found out that Al Sharpton's a snitch. Oh, and before we get off of Al Sharpton, Obama is lending his political support to fellow community organizer Al Sharpton by headlining the MSNBC host's National Action Network conference this week in New York. So he's going to even headline for this race-baiting pimp. And, you know, his svelte figure, make it sound like he was doing Nutrisystem or on a treadmill or something. He had a bypass. So
I thought he had
like
cancer or something.
No, he had a bypass. All right, now, let's talk about Mozilla for a second. You all know that there's a big issue with Mozilla, and our very own colleague, Color Me Red, is here. I'm going to open up her microphone because, you know, you all know that this guy, the new CEO, he had stepped down because 6 years ago he gave $1,000 to a group that was fighting against the gay marriage initiative, Proposition 8, out in California. Also, if you remember 6 years ago, Hillary Clinton and Obama were running for president back then, and they said that they believed marriage was between one man and one woman. And Obama even went further to say that he was a Christian, and that's the tenets of the Christian beliefs. So, I mean, he even knows about Christians. All right, so now he's going after nuns.
That's just because that's what was on the teleprompter. Doesn't mean he believes that. That's just what they told him to say. That's the teleprompter talking. TOTUS.
Yeah, well,
teleprompter of the president.
Yeah, the TOTUS teleprompter of the United States. Anyhow, so now 6 years ago, this guy donated $1,000 to this anti-Proposition 8 situation. So now this group called OK Cupid, which is supposedly a gay site, is calling out this dude and saying, they made the guy resign. But there's a hell of a lot more to this story. And everybody who's uninstalling Mozilla, you might want to reinstall it because, Red, welcome to our show, and I'm sure you can add to this story.
Hi there.
Hey, Red.
It's just one of those. Hi, how are you? This is one of those stories that, it tweaked my interest on Friday, and I just thought there had to be a lot more to it than what we were seeing because no one had ever heard of this stupid Cupid, whatever it was. And so I started to do some research, and then one of my friends had said, have you looked at the name again and look at it closely? And when I spelled it out again, it doesn't spell out just OK Cupid. If you look at it, it looks like occupied. Right. And he said this, and it does. And I had already looked for the Soros connection, and I think you had done. I haven't actually found any as yet because I got so far behind in all the research. I think you found out that Soros does own. I have to back up a little bit. OK Cupid, incidentally, is owned by IAC, which is a conglomerate, owns roughly about 150 different internet companies. And controls the internet, so to speak, to a large extent. They started off with HSN, Home Shopping Network, which they did sell, but they ended up they buy and sell constantly. I believe they paid $50 million for OK Cupid back in '94, something like that.
Hold on one second. Let me clarify that with you. All right, Red just said the company is called IAC. Let me tell you a couple of the subsidiaries of this. About.com, Ask.com, Chemistry.com, CityGrid, College Human Media, Daily Burn, Dictionary.com, Electus, Felix, Home Advisor, Investopedia, Match.com, Medic Group, MindSpark, Notional, N-Relate, OK Cupid, People Media, Price Runner, Shoebuy, The Daily Beast, Tinder, Tutor, Twoo,
wait. Stop, and Vimeo. Did you say Daily Beast?
I said The Daily Beast, yes.
Okay.
And these are all subsidiaries owned by IAC. You'll see that they're all IT companies and telecom companies. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead, Red.
Okay, and then so I started to do some research, first of all, on who the CEO was or the co-founder of OK Cupid was. I keep wanting to call it Stupid Cupid. I'm sorry. I have to trip over myself. But OK Cupid, it turned out to be this guy, Sam Yegan. And when I did more research on Sam Yegan, that's how I found out about the IAC. Then we researched the IAC company, and that's the holding company, so to speak, and then or the mother company, the mothership, and found out that of all things that Clinton is on the board of directors. Chelsea.
Chelsea Clinton. She's on the board of directors along with this guy Barry Diller.
Right. Who contributes to a number of different candidates. But the interesting thing that came out, too, was that... Right. The interesting thing that came out, too, though, was that apparently in 2004, these people had donated. Actually, it was the CEO. Actually, I have to back up on this, too, because Yegan is the CEO of Match.com, as well as being the co-founder of OK Cupid. Anyway, he had back in 2004, he had donated money to a candidate who was a real anti-gay type, and like everybody's saying, well, how come he still has his job? If and he's the one that called Ike in. Go figure this one. He was the one that that clamored for Ike's resignation, and yet he was the very one who himself had donated to an anti-gay candidate. So go figure. Mm-hmm. Something's rotten in Denmark with this whole thing, is what I'm trying to say. Somebody's manipulating something.
What we found out
for a reason.
What we found out, I just put a link into the chat room. Not that long ago. Let's see. The date is 2008. George Soros bought 22,000 shares of IAC Interactive. That was in 2008. Since then, he has increased his holdings. George Soros, along with this dude, Barry Diller, are trying to get Mozilla. Now, Mozilla is associated with Google. But what they're doing is by using this gay agenda and this gay attack, it's not really at gays at all. It's a corporate attack. IAC is trying to acquire Mozilla, but they don't want to pay full price, of course. So what they're going to do is just like Soros did with Citigroup, they're going to destroy it, bankrupt it, and then buy it or acquire it or somehow hijack it. And then it will become part of IAC. Mozilla is doing very, very well, and they were looking to expand their market in Latin America, and that's what got Soros all freaked out.
They already have. They already
Red.
have. Yeah, they already have expanded. They're one of the few companies that are worldwide. In fact, I spoke to friends of mine on the weekend from Poland. Oh my gosh, from Japan, from China, you name it. I mean, all over the world, literally. I had a whole list of people in different countries: Spain, Italy, France, everywhere. Of course, UK and Canada, but everywhere you could think of, as well as in the Middle East, that this browser is in effect. And I say this browser, I mean Firefox. So it's a very, very powerful company with a very wide-reaching market, and of course been classified as the best browser on the market. Right. And so it's a very desirable. It's very desirable. But the question is, I've been going back and forth, and I guess you keep going to the why. It's the same thing as the plane crash. Why? You always have to look for the why and the reasoning. And I kept coming back. There was only one reason that anybody would want to do this, and that was for control. And obviously with Soros, and immediately Soros, when you think control, equates Soros. So, Soros is involved, that's control.
Add to it, last week Obama said that he was handing over control of the Internet to a foreign body. And he said to be determined. So he's just going to hand it over to everybody. He doesn't even care. So what this looks like is this guy, Diller and Soros, who are the main shareholders in IAC. They don't care about these companies. They don't care about gay people. They don't give a damn about any of that. This is just to get that guy to step down and to hurt Mozilla. And that's what's going on. It's corporate warfare between, them. It's exactly the same blueprint that they use all the time. They're going to destroy Mozilla so that they can acquire Mozilla, just like Soros did with Citigroup.
Well, you mentioned Google. Google, incidentally, funds. They're associated by the fact that I can explain this because of their association in business. Google and Firefox, the more that, the more people that are on Firefox, the more people that will use Google, and then Google reimburses Firefox for that. But I would have to think that income was down just a little bit this weekend with all the people uninstalling Firefox. So it meant it would have hit Google as well because their shares took a hit today. And it's interesting, if you go back and think about it, 2008, now what else happened in 2008?
I don't know, Obama.
Yeah. So it's like a gigantic plan. I'm sorry, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I see too many, there's no such thing as, I don't know, it's coincidence. I mean, there's too many coincidences. And then, of course, with Google, their shares just split last week. Is it possible that again, I don't know. It could be that he's even thinking of Google. I mean, Soros is thinking of Google and trying to.
This other guy is partner over there at IAC. That guy Barry Diller, who is the chairman over there, who's in cahoots with Soros. He just had to pay fines for insider trading with the Coca-Cola Company.
He did the same thing to Coca-Cola. That's all. That's what these guys do. This is what they do. They buy and sell. They're corporate raiders, is what they are. Basically, what they really are. They're corporate raiders. They go in and they buy the companies on the cheap. They dump them. They keep them. Whatever. But that's what they do. And, in fact, this Yagan guy just set up some kind of LLC, again, for acquisitions, and he put a ton of money in it. So, so he can go ahead and start buying more companies.
When you look at this company, IAC, and you look at the players, especially George Soros, and then you see that they are funding the Tides Foundation, too. And then you see all these little subsidiary groups. It reminds you all of Acorn. They use the exact same blueprint. Soros did it with GM, too. He had committed espionage. He opened up a Chinese car company called Chery, Chery. And he had stolen the blueprints from their little Chevy, whatever car it is, not the Volt, but one of those little compact cars. General Motors was suing him. When General Motors went bankrupt and they got the bailout, that went away, too. That lawsuit against Soros went away, too. So that's what they do. They go in, they destroy a company until it's rock bottom price, then they buy it and pull it out. And now they own it. And that's exactly what's going on with Mozilla. So don't uninstall your Mozilla. We're going to have to talk to the guy from Mozilla and let him know, that we understand what's going on now. That CEO didn't have to resign, but I understand why he did. Same reason Sarah Palin left being the governor of Alaska, because they were coming after her. So she distracted them.
I'd still be cautious at this point, Joanne. I was so, I'm just saying that, I've been, researching all this stuff, and and it's all cropping up, and I'm still trying to connect the dots. I'd still be cautious because it's got to be even more behind this. I'm not sure what it is. And, if everybody puts some effort into it, we'll find what the answer is. That's why I spoke with you earlier today. And that's why I wanted to talk to you last night, actually, because I was tripping over all this stuff, and I thought, wait a minute, I can't do all this myself. It's just too much. There's too many people involved. There's too many players. I mean, if you look at that board of directors, I mean, I know the guy from Seagram's I told you about. There's a couple of guys on there that I know, actually. So, I mean, it's all money, heavy money, big money that are all on that board of directors.
Well, I'm thinking that Soros has got to be some sort of a CIA operative too. I don't know. There's just too much with him. But like we said about Mozilla, I wouldn't be too quick to uninstall it until we get the rest of this. But they get all these little minions together, and how it started was the IRS. The IRS leaked the information about Brendan Ehrlich, or Ike, whatever, E-I-C-H is his name, Brendan Ike. He's the CEO. The IRS is the one. I got an echo. The IRS is the ones that actually leaked the information to allegedly Cupid. But it's all the same minions, the same organizers, the same groups, same everything, and now they're going after Mozilla. So,
well, the thing is, the IRS should never have leaked that information. I mean, that's private information.
That's right.
Is that what they're going to do with our medical records?
Exactly. If they can leak this information to an opponent, what can they leak about you or me?
Well, this is it. I mean, this is it. And remember, too, the one thing I sent you, I posted on your timeline too, was about the put that or the bet that Soros has. He's talking about the market crashing. They've said that the market has been inflated for a while now artificially, and I'm beginning to believe that it has been, and it could have even been.
When did he make that bet? Soros is betting billions against the stock market.
End of February.
End of February. All right, so he's got money on the market crashing again. Hey, Red, I want to thank you for calling in. That's some really good information because, I mean, this is hitting the fan, especially with, the gay people and the gay rights and all of that. This is fake. This is completely a fraud, and there's more of an agenda behind it.
I think so. Okay, well, that's it. I'll listen to your program, and I hope to hear about the plane.
The plane's in Pakistan. The plane's in Pakistan. We're not even looking for it. Now, how did the Chinese get a black box? They got no plane. They got no dead people, no survivors, not even a piece of styrofoam, but they got a black box. No, that's planes in Pakistan. We're sticking to our story. Our sources are sticking to it, so will we.
Yep. It's actually getting funny. I hate to say that, but it is. Anyway, I'll listen in and talk to you later.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Color Me Red, our foreign policy colleague, but she's doing some other research this time. Soros, he's the usual suspect anyhow. But just before you uninstall Mozilla, let's get to the bottom of this. All right, I think they're under attack. I don't think that they're anti-gay or anything else. A guy made a donation 6 years ago, and to anti-Proposition 8. Well, wasn't that, weren't they all one man, one woman?
Well, everybody in California, the majority in California was against it at the time. So, does that mean everybody in California should lose their jobs? I mean, it's idiotic, and I guess we should tell Obama to step down because he was backing traditional marriage. So I guess he needs to go.
Yeah, but a guy makes a donation 6 years ago, and all of a sudden he's the bad guy, and our own IRS is who ratted him out. So you might want to rethink your love of the IRS too. All right, Red, we're going to take our second break, and when we come back, we got a whole bunch of stuff for our lightning round this time. Jojo, you ready to take another break?
Oh, well, yeah, but I was trying to send you a message because my Facebook won't load, and I was going to send Manny a message to call in later. Do you know if he's called in?
I'm looking at the switchboard, and he's not on it yet. I have his area code.
He's probably real busy. He was getting hit up by all the local news, so he may not make our show tonight, but we can probably get him next week if he doesn't call in.
Yeah, well, we'll do that.
If he doesn't call in by the time we get back, we'll just do his story.
That's okay. You can do that. All right, we're just going to do a quick 1 minute.
I can't get Facebook to load, so you'll have to take it off my page.
All right, we'll be right back.
Okay. All right.
Amendment of the United States Constitution, a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
There's a national event that takes place once a year, the first weekend in August. The people bear arms in fellowship and reaffirm their Second Amendment rights. Come join us and celebrate with us as Americans. The Watchmen of America, Second Amendment celebration event. Go to www.watchmenofamerica.com for details.
And we are back. You're listening to Moretti Underground, the Liberty Report, right here at PRN Radio Network, exclusive home of the Watchmen of America program. You all know me. I'm Joanne Moretti, and my great co-host JoJo Norton is here with me, too. Right before the break, we spoke with Becky Williams and with Color Me Red. Both of them were amazing, wonderful guests, and they both had some fantastic information. We're expecting Manny Vega, but he's being interviewed by a whole bunch of people. He said if he had time, he would stop by the show. However, obviously he hasn't had time. Manny Vega is an amazing patriot. He is a veteran. As a matter of fact, when we had the government shutdown and all the memorials were closed to our veterans up in D.C., he was one of the 10 million bikers that went there and helped to remove the barriers and let the soldiers in. And he got a lot of notoriety by that. He also got some recognition.
I just got Facebook to work, and I just sent him a message. So maybe he'll call in a minute. We'll see.
Yeah, well, If not, he himself was having a problem with the Homeowners Association. He's a Marine. He wanted to hang his United States flag with his Marine flag under it. Not big, not gaudy, not, something the size of the neighborhood. Just a regular, normal-sized flag that everybody has in their house. And because he's who he is, they gave him so much crap about it. They called the police on him. The Homeowners Association was trying to evict him out of a home that he owned because he was in violation of their rules for hanging an American flag. Other people hung little, those cute little windsocks and the little whirlybirds and stuff like that in their yard. Nobody had a problem with that. But because it's Manny, as it turns out, the management decided to back off because I guess Manny's got a few friends, put it that way, and they got an earful. So they did back off.
And he didn't back down, and then after it took a week for them to decide whether they were going to, at first they were going to evict him, and then they come back and said they never said they were going to evict him, and then it went back and forth. So today, when he got the reprieve that he could keep his flags up, the TV people showed up and wanted to interview his apartment complex, and they're all mad and they ran the TV people off. Anyway, hopefully, now that I finally got through to him and gave him the correct number, he'll call in. We'll see.
Yeah, well, we only got a half an hour left, but that's his story. Hey, JoJo, this Ebola thing is heating up. We've talked about this for the last 4 weeks. And now some guy who possibly has Ebola traveled through New York, and they're trying to locate him. So there's some problems there. Want to tell us a little bit about Ebola?
Yeah,
and
Ebola
what it does?
It's a hemorrhagic disease, and it's always usually been in Africa. And what they first did is they closed down the borders of Guinea, where it first popped up again. I think the last time they had a big scare was in '95 or something. But it's a hemorrhagic disease, which you end up bleeding out from every orifice is the end result. But it starts off like flu-like symptoms, upper respiratory, body aches and pains, all that kind of stuff, but it can spread real fast. And I won't go into all the medical terminology. This dead-gum computer, I swear. But anyway,
this is really spreading, and they got like 75 people dead. Yeah, most of the countries
no, it's more than 75.
Now.
It's over 100.
It's over
and
100
what they
now?
did is, 128. It was the last checked by WHO, which is the World Health Organization. But all you can do is contain it. There's no vaccination for it. There's no cure for it. There's only things you can do is basically try to keep the people hydrated. It is a very bad disease, and as it breaks down. It breaks. I don't know. It's very complicated, but you end up. It messes up. It goes and breaks down your liver and all this other stuff and your major organs, and you end up with a thing called DIC, which it messes up the coagulation of your blood, and it thins your blood out so bad that you bleed out from everywhere. But they found a guy. They found a man infected with Ebola-type virus traveled through New York airport, and this was from Saturday. He's a man from Canada, was visiting Africa. He became infected with Ebola-type virus, and on his way home, he traveled through 2 U.S. international airports, New York and Minneapolis.
Remember, they told us the guy in Canada didn't have it, and we knew damn well he did.
Yeah. Within days of his trip, another man in Minneapolis was diagnosed with the same Ebola-type hemorrhagic virus. Since the infected man traveled through a New York City airport, the Ebola virus may be in New York City. So, the Washington Post noted that as today, the death toll had climbed to 86, but WHO is reporting like 128 from what I read. But Ebola is
an angry
so
crowd
virulent.
over in Guinea. They attacked a hospital, and they accused the staff of bringing the deadly disease into the town. So they were going after the people who were working at the hospital. The hospital had to be evacuated too. So these people are all starting to scatter.
Well, I wouldn't be. Actually, you can contract the virus from embalming a body. I mean, it is that deadly and it's that easily transmitted. It's not airborne, but it's through body fluids,
close
stuff
contact.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, if the guy sitting next to you is coughing.
Well, No, it's not airborne. Symptoms for Ebola are disturbingly rather generic. They include fever, headache, joint and muscle aches, weakness, diarrhea, vomiting, stomach pain, and lack of appetite. Basically the flu. Flu-like symptoms. So, and then you go into the organ, the stuff that messes up your coagulation of your blood, and then that's when you get DIC and you start bleeding out and all that other stuff. So
yeah, it destroys your platelets.
It's an epidemic, and it's a level 4 it's a level 4 biohazard. I'm not saying that right, but I don't have anything to read from because I can't get to my stuff, so I'm having to do this.
That's all right. Anyhow, where it's traveled through New York and the guy in Canada's got it, don't think it can't happen here. It's already happening here.
Yeah.
Oh, God, unbelievable. Let's talk about Obamacare for a second.
Oh, only if we must.
Pelosi. Y'all know Pelosi. As a matter of fact, everybody's all freaked out about Pelosi. Yeah, the Breitbart's posted a picture of her using Miley Cyrus's body. You know how she was bent over in the plastic pants there twerking? Well, they put Pelosi's face on it, and everybody's all freaked out about it. Come on. It's a joke, all right? Nobody's got a sense of humor. But anyhow, they're offended by that picture. Well, any site that her picture appears on is offensive. So she even, remember Robert Gibbs, right? Gibber the Fibber? Before Jay Carney got there.
Yeah, the other mouthpiece.
Well, Robert Gibbs seems to think that the employer mandate is never going to take effect, and Pelosi lost her mind when he said that. Listen to this from the Washington Examiner. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, a Democrat from California, brushed off former White House Press Secretary Robert Gibbs' prediction that Obamacare, twice-delayed employer mandate, will never take effect by suggesting he's being paid to talk down the law that he touted as it moved through Congress. Robert Gibbs' opinion, I don't know who his clients are or what his perspective is, but we're celebrating the fact that we have over 7 million who have signed up, not counting the 3.1 million who are on the policies of their parents until they're 26 years old, and not including over 3 million and probably closer to 5 million on Medicaid, which would bring us closer to 15 million people who now have quality, affordable health care. First of all, it's not health care, it's health insurance. Has nothing to do with the quality of your health care. All right, that's your doctor's business, not Nancy Pelosi's business. Now, let's talk numbers here. You got 350 million Americans, maybe 50 million illegals. Okay, so you're talking close to 400 million people. So 7 million people, and we're supposed to be throwing a party over that? What about the other 393 million people? What are they going to do? All right,
wait. But what about,
this was supposed to insure 40 million uninsured.
But what about the, 6 million that lost their insurance?
Right.
So, I mean, we're...
and 5 million went on Medicaid. So, this is all a bunch of baloney. And if this law is so wonderful, why are the Democrats still running from it? They want to fix it. They want to repair it, mend it, don't end it. All right, there is no fixing this.
Well, now the Republicans want to put a bill in to cancel the employee mandate. To hell with that. Repeal it.
No, let it go through. I hope it goes through tomorrow. I hope they demand every one of these employers cover everybody who's on their employee list. That's what it's going to take, JoJo. Let them feel the pain. Mm-hmm. All right? It's going to happen, we're going to put it off. It's going to happen, we're going to put it off. It's going to happen. Forget it. Let it happen. Be careful what you wish for. Let's just do this. All right? Get it out in the open. Get the whole thing put out there. And then when people feel the pinch, when you're paying $3,000 a year more for your insurance, and that's just minimal, $3,000 more for your affordable health care, and you're paying a $6,000 deductible. How many of you out there, if you're not sick, have used $6,000 worth of doctor care in a year? You got to put that out
unless
before
you're
your insurance.
Hospitalized.
Yeah, well, you got to put that money out before your insurance kicks in. You got to pay that up front.
It's a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, it's a Ponzi scheme, all right. And these young kids, they want all these millennials to sign up. Well, when they're 27, then you're moving into an older age group then. So the millennials aren't going to sign up. This is just a bunch of
Number
crap.
one, where are they supposed to get the money? I mean, if they have a job, it's starting out job. They might be making $30,000 a year. You can't spend $10,000 or $12,000 on insurance if you make $30,000 a year. It's not possible.
No. Well, I'll tell you, this is just absolute insanity. All right, moving on. The EPA, we talked about this before, but now they've been busted. Our listeners knew all about this. The EPA conducted those dangerous experiments on humans, and now it came out that they even conducted these experiments on children. Remember they hooked up a truck and a tube to the exhaust system and were making the old ladies inhale it? That was so that they could improve their EPA policies. All right, they wrap a kid's mouth around an exhaust pipe and tell a kid to inhale. And how's that going to improve the kid's health? Listen to this.
Not.
Oh, yeah. Mad Science. The Environmental Protection Agency has been deliberately exposing people, including children, with asthma and other health issues to pollution to justify even more stringent air quality standards. Improvements to EPA policies and guidance could enhance protection of human study subjects. Released by the EPA's Office of Inspector General on March 31st, confirms that the agency exposed 81 human study subjects to concentrated airborne particles or diesel exhaust emissions in 5 EPA studies conducted during the 2010 and 2011. According to the report obtained by the Daily Caller News Foundation, the human subjects said to have given their informed consent were exposed to levels of pollutants up to 50 times greater than the EPA itself says safe for humans. And there are questions as to how informed that consent was. I mean, you had mothers signing up their children for this asthma study, and they wrapped the kid's mouth around in a tailpipe and made the kid inhale.
Well, I promise you, I think when they signed up for asthma study, they had no idea that's what was going to happen.
Yeah.
They usually offer money for these studies. They'll say, if you sign up for this study, we'll give you $300 or $400 or whatever. So
yeah,
that might have been a little incentive there. And then the mother's too stupid or didn't ask enough questions or had no idea that they were going to wrap their mouth around an exhaust pipe.
Yeah, no kidding. That's unbelievable. So, I think our PRN chat went down.
Everything's screwed up. I can't get my Facebook to work or anything else. I know I don't think we have the story on our agenda, but I just want to throw this out there. There's a rancher in Nevada in big trouble right now, and if you go to Infowars.com, that's where the story originated. It's out there everywhere. His last name's Bundy. Feds are after him, and I'll leave it at that. Everybody can go look it up because I don't.
Well, I have that story right here in front of us.
Damn, ESPN again. Everybody in the chat room earlier was asking about the story, and I told them we could do it if we could.
Yep, we got that coming right up here. Fed snipers train guns on family for filming the cattle roundup. This family has owned this ranch for a very, very long time, and it was passed down from family to family. Yes, passed down from father to son. It says the cattle were being rounded up by BLM officers as part of a crackdown on Nevada rancher Cliven Bundy, who has refused to pay grazing fees demanded by the feds as a result of a reclassification of 600,000 acres of federal land in northern Clark County, which Bundy claims has been in his family for generations. It says some fear the dispute could turn into a Ruby Ridge-style violent standoff because Bundy has said he's prepared to become a martyr for what he perceives as a constitutional stance against tyranny. This guy had permits to let the cattle graze. Through generations, his father and his grandfather, all right? The cattle...
And great-grandfather, probably.
Right.
Whatever. Well,
the feds reclassified that land as protected land, and they found the dude's cattle on there. There's no fence. So they decided to rob the guy. They're taking his cattle away, and they want to fine him. What is it, $15,000 a day?
I don't know, but cattle are worth... But listen, a calf sells for $1,000 right now, so that's a lot of money. And
right.
On the hoof. Okay, keep going. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. Well, it says when when Dave Bundy's father, Cliven, attempted to contact emergency response in both Mesquite and for Metro in an attempt to discover the whereabouts of his son, he was told to get off the phone or he would be arrested. So they took this kid's son. He was taking pictures. They said, you're in an anti-free speech zone. He said, what are you talking about? I'm still in the United States, right? They said, no, you don't have any free speech here. You got to go over to the bridge. You got free speech over there. He said, I'm not going over the bridge. I'm just filming you people taking my cattle. So when we have a lawsuit, I want to be able to have it documented. So they took his camera. They arrested him. And then the father called to see where they took him, and nobody would even tell him where they took this kid. This is getting ugly, and who knows?
Look, there's some mad people. I know. I talked to somebody from Arizona today that's ready to gas up and load up and go to help the man out. So there's people loading up, locking and loading, and fixing to head to Nevada to help this dude out. This could get serious.
Yeah, well, you know, the man was minding his business, letting his cattle graze, the same way they've been doing it for generations and generations, and all of a sudden now they've criminalized him. They criminalized his cow. They've taken his property. Speaking of taking people's property, there's a 91-year-old guy.
Oh, yeah.
For his whole life, he has been collecting artifacts. He didn't steal them. He purchased them. And he and his wife traveled all around the world. Well, some lady from a news camera went to visit him one day and saw that he had artifacts. So she asked if she could look around, and he said, yeah. Well, she put it on TV, you know, about all this cool stuff this dude has. The next thing you know, the feds are kicking down this 91-year-old guy's door, rummaging through his stuff. They took all this guy's artifacts and said, well, we'll give him back the ones that we don't think belong to someone else. Check out this story. Leave the guy's stuff alone. This is from The Blaze. When Andy Essex got an eyeful of Don Miller's gigantic basement collection of artifacts he's acquired from his travels around the world, she was enthralled. It's unreal, Essex told WISH-TV in Indianapolis, adding that the full skeleton is what blew my mind, and that her favorite was Miller's piece of Hitler's bunker. The 91-year-old is a veteran, former teacher, and was part of the Manhattan Project, which created the atomic bomb, and over 8 decades has traveled to more than 200 countries, collecting and bartering for artifacts along the way. He's just a very interesting guy, Essex told WISH. Apparently, the FBI agrees. Federal agents took over Miller's home in Waldron, Indiana, about 35 miles southeast of Indianapolis on Wednesday, because they believe some of his artifacts may violate several treaties and could have been acquired improperly. They don't even know how this guy got this stuff. Could have been acquired improperly. So they're going to take all the dude's stuff and then decide how he got it?
Yeah.
The guy's 91 years old. Leave his stuff alone. Go ahead, Jojo.
I don't know if people don't realize that what's happening to us just because, you know, we're back to the subject of, well, if it ain't in my backyard, if they're not knocking on my door, it doesn't affect me. Remember that? That's what people think. They're wrong.
Yeah, well, they say that he may have knowingly or unknowingly collected artifacts. They have no idea. And relics and objects of cultural patrimony in violation of several treaties, federal and state statutes. This guy Jones said some of the statutes and laws from the last several decades may not have even been in effect when Miller collected some of his items. So now they're going to take his stuff away retroactively?
Yeah, I hope he doesn't butter any toast while they're in the house. They may decide to shoot him because he has a weapon.
Yeah, no kidding.
So stupid and crazy about this crap.
91 years old.
So whatever you do, man, don't butter no toast. Well, after this stress they've just put on him, they might put him to his death just from stress.
Yeah, no kidding. They're probably this is probably going to kill him. I can't even tell if PRN is down. I got the studio open at Blog Talk. The chat's not working. Oh, well.
I can't get my internet to work, so I can't check for you.
Well, I hope we're still on here. Hey, no proggy groups were targeted by the IRS. That report came out today. No progressive groups were targeted by the IRS. Only 7 applications.
To them, they don't know.
Well, it says only 7 applications in the IRS backlog contain the word progressive, all of which were then approved by the IRS. So the proggies didn't get hassled. Guess what Eric Holder wants now?
Oh, RFID chips and GPS if you own a gun, so they can give you permission to shoot somebody if you need to defend yourself.
Right. Well, they want RFID tracking systems on your gun now. This is from Washington Free Beacon.
Oh, wait, somebody's breaking in my back door. Hold on, I got to get my little bracelet on and get at my shotgun. And just give me a minute, Mr. Robber Rapist. I got to get my bracelet, and I got to put my bullet I got hidden in my shotgun so I can shoot you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, that's it. It says, by making them either through fingerprints identification, the gun talks to a bracelet or something that you might wear. And it says those kind of things that I think we want to try to explore. So Eric Holden wants not only your guns registered, but he wants you to wear a bracelet that you can't even fire your gun unless you got that bracelet on. And I already told you about the New York's rallying for guns, but boy, that was a heck of a story. The NSA spy case isn't going to be heard by the Supreme Court. They chickened out. They sent it back to the lower courts.
The United States, right.
Yep, the United States Supreme
Court. Off.
Yep, on Monday, declined a request for the High Court to determine the constitutionality of the federal government's domestic spying policies. Plaintiffs in the case, Clayman and Obama versus Obama, attempted to have the justices review the issue of the legality of the National Security Agency's surveillance practices before the case goes through the normal legal avenues. But it's incredibly rare for a request of that nature to actually come to fruition. So they sent it back to the lower courts to go through the process.
Speaking of paid off, I just want to throw in my opinion on something. Because everybody's like, where is Hillary's million or billion? $6 million missing dollars.
Billions.
Where's Hillary's $6 billion missing dollars? If you'll go back 2 or 3 years to this show, my bet and my guess is that money bought the man pads from Libya that went to Benghazi. Or at least bought some of them. Or some of the money bought them. That's where some of that money is. It's called Benghazi, people. Man pads. 20,000 missing man pads. I don't know how much they cost, but somebody do the math.
Yeah, well, that money that's missing, maybe they should look in Hillary's pockets or John Kerry's pockets. It all went to dark money. Do you know they spent $400,000 on fiberglass camel? Now, you know that's going to end up in somebody's college dorm, right? $400,000.
Or worse.
Speaking of Hillary, she's got a busy schedule coming up. She's going to have a speaking frenzy. She's got 4 days in 3 states and a whole pile of money. Hillary Clinton's Twitter bio ends with the phrase TBD, but that doesn't mean she's lying low. TBD means to be determined. The former Secretary of State embarks on a whirlwind speaking tour of the West Coast this week, while potentially lucrative, also looks a lot like a campaign-style swing. From Tuesday through Friday, Clinton will barnstorm 3 states, making 5 appearances at corporate events and business conventions covering an array of topics from healthcare to scrap metal recycling. But the frenzied schedule is a small price to pay for the potential upside. With her personal speaking fees reportedly averaging $200,000 per engagement, Clinton could haul in as much as $1 million in the 4-day period. Representatives for Clinton, who's 66 years old, have not responded to a request for comment about her speaking fees at this week's thing. Plus, her kid, Chelsea, is doing a speaking engagement, and so is Billy Boy. Jeb Bush. Did you hear what he said this weekend?
Oh, God, I don't even... Oh, yeah, something about amnesty.
Yeah, immigration is an act of
they're
love.
Just here because, love. Love.
Mhm. Immigration's an act of love. You come over here, and it's because you love your family and you want the best for them. Yeah. Okay, that's a small number of people, and like we tell you all the time, those are the least of our problems. They're trying to, again, make you think it's the poor little Mexican tomato picker, and you're supposed to feel bad. You're supposed to think with your emotions instead of your head.
Somebody needs to tell him about the people that want to kill us that are coming across the border. That's not about love. That's called...
Hamas, Hezbollah, the Somalis there, what are those ones called? Anyhow, all these terrorists that are coming across, and then, of course, you have drug cartels coming across, and you have people who are probably fugitives from other countries. When you think of illegal immigrant, they want you to think of the tomato picker, okay? Because they want you to feel emotions for the poor guy struggling to feed his family, and I do. But we do have a path to citizenship. It's called legal immigration. And with the border wide open, you got Mexican military coming across with assault weapons, holding our border patrol at bay. Those weren't tomato pickers.
Mm-hmm.
Stop thinking with your heart and start thinking with your head. There's a Democrat who's opposing Eric Cantor running up there, and he called people who are pro-lifers mentally ill. So I guess killing babies is sane. So
I guess so.
So if you want to kill a baby, you're sane. But if you want to protect that life, you're insane. They're going to label everybody mentally ill. You know why? Because mentally ill people can't have guns. So if you're a pro-lifer and you're mentally ill, you're not going to get a gun.
Or if you're on antidepressants. Antidepressants makes you mentally ill, whether you're depressed or not. And the doctors hand them out like M&Ms.
Mm-hmm. There's a chick. Her name is Kathleen Parker. And she was a failed CNN host, but she has a columnist at the Washington Post. Mm-hmm. She thinks people with Southern accents are dumb. They're stupid.
Oh. Well,
yep,
we
she
might
does
come
not like
across
your
that
accent,
way,
JoJo. She doesn't like your accent. I'd take it personal if I were you.
I don't use the King's English properly all the time, so that's probably why she thinks we're all stupid. And we have, other words we use in replace of some other words that kind of, just the way we are.
Well,
but I don't think we're dumb.
She's a Kathleen Parker, a Washington Post columnist and failed CNN host, criticized an AFP ad because the guy in it had a Southern accent. She argued that there are plenty of smart, sophisticated people who are just as confused by the Obamacare law, so no need to get a stupid guy with a Southern accent when a smart, sophisticated person will do.
But man, she hasn't met Carol. She hasn't met Carol Ray, has she? Maybe we should have Carol give this woman a call.
Yep. Unbelievable. And she got another chick who was fined $10,000 per prayer after defying a judge's order. An atheist legal group, this is from the Blaze, has filed a motion accusing commissioners in Maryland of repeatedly defying a judge's orders, prohibiting them from praying during public meetings. You don't get prohibited for praying. What is this? The person was not establishing a religion, all right? She said a prayer before a meeting. She's allowed to do that. She has civil liberty, too. She has civil rights.
Freedom of speech.
All of us do. If you wanted to stand in the middle of the street and say prayers, the government can't stop you. The government can't force you to pray. But they can't stop you from praying. If that woman wants to say a prayer before her meeting, let her. Anybody who doesn't want to hear her prayer, you're free to leave. Come back after the prayer. I mean, if you're going to get physically sick by hearing the word God.
Oh, put your fingers in your ears.
Yeah.
So she's through. Just stick your fingers in your ears.
Yep. And our last story of the night, because we're running out of time, there's a nun in trouble for teaching Catholic doctrine at a Catholic school.
Oh, boy, that's
I got to tell you something. All right, political correctness has gotten really bad. It turned last week when a Catholic nun was excoriated for lecturing against same-sex unions at a Catholic high school in North Carolina. And the outrage didn't come from the left, but from students and parents. Sister Jane Dominic Laurel told students that homosexuality is not so much a biological trait as a result of psychological factors, often prompted by environmental conditions, like being raised by same-sex parents. She used studies and data to back up her claims, according to Breitbart News. Sister Laurel, a national Dominican nun with a doctorate in theology from the Pontifical University in Rome, has often lectured on church doctrine, which teaches that homosexuality is a sin. She normally teaches at Aquinas College, but often guest lectures at high schools across the country. Well, the students and the parents lost their minds. Well, you know what? If you're a Catholic, you already know what the Catholics believe. And if you're sending your kids to Catholic school, I don't want to hear any crap about them teaching Catholic doctrine.
But not only that, we have Muslims wanting to go to Catholic schools, and when they get there, they want to change the whole thing. If you're not Catholic, don't go to a Catholic school. If you don't agree with Catholic theology, then go to a public school.
Well,
go to another private school.
That's the same thing that chick Sandra Fluck did. She told us to our faces that she was accepted at Georgetown. She went there on purpose to change their insurance laws. She didn't have to go to that school. She went there on purpose. All right, JoJo, we don't have any more time. So
all right,
we're going to say goodnight to everybody.
Powder dry, and I think maybe keep your powder dry. It's a little old school. It might be lock and load. See y'all next week.
All right. Good night, JoJo.